Hi. I know it's been a very long time again, but I wanted to make another video about dating after you've dated a narcissist or multiple narcissists, as probably a lot of us have. Um, just because I have been dating someone I actually really like, who's really great, and it still sucks, like a lot of the time, because of the stuff that I have built up and like my reactions to stuff that are not great at all. So I wanted to talk about that and kind of both be validating, hopefully, to some of you who are probably dealing with similar things, and to tell you some things I've discovered that help, I think. So, um, probably for most of you, like with me, when you date someone after you've dated a narcissist, everything kind of sounds like a lie. Or like you just feel like you should probably check on certain things that you're told, even like about how they feel about you. You're like, no, either like this is love bombing again, or like you're just saying stuff. So that kind of sucks. And you also probably have a million triggers, like I do. And what you're supposed to do about triggers is kind of take a moment and remind yourself that you're not in that original trigger situation, right? Like, if like for you, if for you, like for me, cell phones can kind of be a trigger because that was always where everything was like hidden, like the secret world of these narcissists kind of always originated from the phone. And so that was like the thing that I always had to watch out for, and they would always take it to the bathroom and be real creepy, and do secret things on there. So you're supposed to tell yourself, okay, last time that's what was happening with the phone. This time it's not happening anymore. That's fucking hard to do when you have CPTSD, first of all. And then second of all, when for a lot of us, we have the dating pattern of finding narcissists like over and over again if we haven't worked through our shit. So you can try to tell yourself that it's not the same situation, but like it might be the same situation, right? This person might be going into the bathroom to secretly text who knows how many other people, or like send, naked Snapchats to whoever else is in their phone. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how hard it is to trust your own self in these situations when, you feel like you maybe shouldn't, especially if you have CPTSD, because your reactions are a lot stronger to things than like maybe they should be or would be ideally. But I do feel like there are still some ways that we can trust maybe not our immediate reactions, but we can still trust ourselves, and make a good assessment of a person to be dating, based on some things. So what do you go on when you're trying to find an actually decent person after your pattern has been narcissist? A huge one, I think, and I'm sure this is obvious, is just actions, not words. Of course, narcissists are the super charming ones who know exactly how to say the right thing at the right time and make it really seem like everything is real in the moment. But of course, we all know their actions never really line up with that afterwards. So their actions, and then are they consistent? Like make sure it's not just love bombing. If they make a promise to you, do they fulfill it? If they act like they're listening to you, do they remember what you said? And not in a weird, creepy way where they just like buy you something to sort of do more love bombing, and then expect you to be happy with that forever. Little consistencies and ways that they pay attention and actually want to make you feel loved and comfortable and cared about. I know, revolutionary. So they're not playing any social media stunts either, being consistent there. The social media stunts, of course, could be either completely hiding you from friends and family if they're still sort of entertaining an ex, or using you by posting everything about you to make an ex jealous, to kind of draw them back in. So once you're sure that neither of those things are happening, that could count towards consistency as well. Obviously, you also want to watch out for narcissist red flags. I'm sure you've already seen a ton of videos on what those are. A huge one of those, of course, is whether or not they can be empathetic. And a lot of them are good at feigning empathy because they have trained themselves to know how to manipulate you so well. They can say whatever you want, but like true empathy, is it actually there? I noticed with this person that I'm dating right now, it was the most interesting thing. Like, it was like I had never experienced empathy, or not for a lot of years, in a person that I was actually dating. In a couple of situations, I was like, okay, I don't like to bring up problems because they've always been blamed on me, right? But there were some things that I brought up that I was like, I'm not comfortable with these things. And the reaction was actually like, oh, I'm really sorry. I can see your point of view. What do you want me to do differently? Or like, here's what I'm going to try to do differently. Are you comfortable with that? And it was like, oh my God, I found a real person. And she made these changes, and she didn't turn around in a couple of weeks and do whatever she wanted behind my back. So I know, again, revolutionary. Like, people can be real people like us. Also, are they able to apologize for things? I feel like even my covert narcissist, who sort of seemed, to be like softer in a way, because her narcissism wasn't so overt, I still never got apologies, right? Everything is twisted. So like, it was almost like she couldn't even say the phrase, I'm sorry. So just noticing even like little things like that. And again, this person that I'm with now, like, apologizes for things too often that are not her fault, at all, or like not a huge deal. And so I feel like now that I have seen that again, I feel like if you find that, you'll notice the switch. Like, it's a very noticeable feeling where actually I then feel bad in response when I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. That wasn't actually your fault. I was just saying, I was sad about this thing. So yeah, I feel like you can tell, and that's one of the ways that you definitely can still trust your feelings, because you won't be triggered probably in a moment like that. It'll just be like, oh my God, that actually went well. I was heard, I was validated, and now like actions are changing. Oh my God. So a couple of other ways that I think you can tell your true status with someone that you're dating is, because it's hard to base it on them sometimes, maybe just in one way you can base it on you and think about how you talk about this person. So again, for me, I feel like I always knew with narcissists, right, if I was covering up something that they were doing and sort of telling my friends and family that they were still great anyway, like, if you're really talking about a good person and a decent human, or if you're kind of glossing over things because you just need to like keep the peace between the person you're dating and your friends or family. So how you talk about them, I feel like, is really big. Like with this person, if someone asked me, even if someone came to me and was like, I think she's cheating on you, with my narcissists, it would have been like, yeah, for sure. Like, I need to leave. With this one, I would actually be like, I really don't think so. Probably something got misunderstood. And then I would actually go to her and bring it up and be able to trust that like we could have a good conversation about it and clear it all up. So that's a new feeling. Also, I just think this person you're dating has priorities that are very clear to you, right? Like, as I've said in other videos, if they're triangulating you, if they're hanging on to an ex or putting even like a friend or a coworker on this pedestal to make you feel shitty. Like, that's all on purpose. And so we feel it deeply. So you can tell with this person who's hopefully not a narcissist, you know where their priorities are and what they actually care about. And again, you don't trust one instance, you trust the consistency over time. Do they integrate you into their life? Have you met their friends, in a reasonable amount of time? Maybe their family if it's really going well. Again, the social media thing, how do they portray their lives on there, and are you a part of it? And again, with priorities, like this one that I'm dating now is gone at least once a month because she's in the Air Force. And so one weekend a month, she is in a different state. So sometimes I go there when I can for just like a night, or the other times, like, she makes sure it's clear that she misses me and that it's a priority to call me, because I've said before that, like, actually being away from the person I'm dating is kind of a trigger, because it's when things always go wrong, right? There's either with one super abusive person I was with who had borderline personality disorder. That was when she would always like start huge fights to keep my attention from like the whatever I was doing when I was out of town, even if it was like very innocent. Like usually it was I was visiting these girls I used to nanny for, and they're like little girls. So but she would still like start fights so that I would just have to constantly text her all day to try to like save the relationship. So I'm always like waiting for a conflict via text when I'm away from the person. Or it's a really great chance for them to go cheat on you, right? So I've definitely had to work through like, okay, whenever she says she's going to visit like an Air Force friend or like go have drinks with an Air Force friend and I'm not even in the state, like be a reasonable human. You know that actually nothing weird is going on, and she will, you know, again, make sure that she adjusts like her timing and whatever she's doing so that she can call me. We can hear each other's voices and I can like calm the fuck down. So that's another thing. It's like, oh, consistent. And, you know, with narcissists in the past, again, either they're starting fights or cheating on you, or I had the most recent one who went away for 3 weeks and called me 2 times, even though I said that was like really important to me that I talked to her. So, again, it's pretty obvious through actions what people's priorities are if you sort of let yourself stick with it and like take stock of what's going on. And then I think the last thing, sort of a really important one, sort of sadly, is they have to just be willing to get through it with you, get through all of your shit. So this isn't to say like just unbridled like dumping of your shit on them. Like still rein it in, still go to a therapist if you can, talk to other friends about it, whatever, write about it. But they do have to kind of be willing to like let you talk it out if you're super triggered, and, you know, just get through some like maybe strange requests, like strange to people who haven't been through this. Like with mine, I get real weird about phone stuff, like I mentioned, and she would always take her phone to the bathroom, and I was just like, I'm gonna die. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this again. Like, is there any way that this could be what's going on with the phone in the bathroom? And then you have to take that step back and be like, no, everything else about this person doesn't line up with that situation. Like, what is going on? And I forget how it actually got brought up, but like she noticed that I was super weird about it, or like maybe I made a comment that I like was sort of snippy and I shouldn't have made about like where her phone was or whatever. And so then she stopped taking it to the bathroom. Like, she left it on like, she leaves it out and, like, face up. Not because I'm going to read anything, but just to be like, here, like, I know that you need this kind of ridiculous thing. It's fine. And then as I was like, oh my God, I think I actually trust this person, I was like, here, put your thumbprint on my iPhone to unlock it. Not because I think you will. It's because I know you won't. And like, this is a good exercise for me in feeling like I know that I trust someone. Because previously, like, I've been kicked out of apartments at 5 a.m. because narcissists have like checked my Facebook messages for years and years past. And then like, they'll like invent something that you shouldn't have said, or that like was your fault, or something that like supposedly says something about your character, and then fucking kick you out of their apartment. So I am like, I start sweating and my heart starts racing at the thought of anyone like looking through my phone or my email or anything. Not because there's anything there, but because I always, in the past, something has been invented as a way to have something to hold over my head. So that was kind of a good thing for me to do too. It felt really nice to just be like, I know. And she like really didn't want to do it. And I was like, I know, but can you just do this so that, like, I know we have this mutual, like, I know her phone password as well. Like, not going to check it. She's not going to check mine. It just feels nice to be like a normal human. Like if someone said, hey, can you Google something on my phone? She'd be able to open it and like, that's the only thing she would look at is my browser. So, little baby steps, I guess. So again, are they willing to get through things with you like the weird phone thing? I have a ton of sensitivity about people being in touch with their exes because that's been a source of triangulation with like everybody. And when I met her, she was still in touch with her ex enough that I think her ex was still hanging on and seemed to have been processing some things still. And it didn't really matter because she was single. So she would just like field these messages from the ex. And you could tell that she was a person who, still cared enough to try to be supportive of this person, but I truly think was actually over it. And so when I came into the picture and was like, oh no, we're not doing that. It was that same weird thing where she was like, oh, I hear you, I get it. I'm not going to do these things. And like, they're not in contact anymore. It's wild. Like people are capable of being like, no, you're actually the priority and I will show you. It's been so long since I've seen that. And then, I feel like a jerk sometimes when I'm like, no, I would actually prefer if you didn't like go hang out even in a group with like this person who I think isn't over you. Like that was part of it because it was like a bunch of friends from college were going to get together and she really wanted to see all of them. And I was like, shit, I should not keep her from these college friends. And at the same time, like my CPTSD is going to be through the roof and I'm going to have to be like completely blackout drunk and I'm going to have someone take my phone away. Like just to get through knowing that she's in the same room as her ex in a group, right? Like I'm that messed up. And she just didn't do it. She like made separate time to see friends like when the ex wasn't there. And it was like, is this real? And again, then I felt bad. Like I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I should just pull it together. But this is someone who makes like changes for me. So it's kind of wild. So just once again, I think before I met this person, I felt like really hopeless because I was like, shit, I know I can't trust my initial reactions to a lot of situations. What the hell are you supposed to do then? Like, how are you supposed to ever date someone and figure out what's going on without just consistently, like I was doing, I was like calling people and texting friends and being like, what do you think about this? Is this normal? What is this? And you still can. I think it's good to bounce. I feel like it's good to bounce it off of other people before you go freak out at your partner about it. Because lots of friends might be like, oh, well, maybe she's thinking this. Or, I could see myself doing that and here's why. And then you can kind of come out of your like triggered state and be like, oh, I wasn't being reasonable. And you can still talk to your partner about it. But I think sometimes it helps to like check in still with people. But anyway, I used to feel super helpless and hopeless. And now I sort of feel like, oh my God, I'm actually living out this thing where I can give all these examples of this person who is definitely not a narcissist. I would say I can feel it. It's a distinct difference from people I've been dating recently. So I trust that you would be able to feel it too. And I think you can test it, right? By talking to this person, feeling it out, seeing where they're consistent, and seeing whether or not they can prioritize you. And so I hope that gives you some ideas of me how to handle these situations if you still are wanting to date at all. After these narcissists, it's pretty rough. Let me know if you have anything else that helps too that I didn't mention. I'm sure we could all use some more pointers. So yeah, leave us some comments and thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.